Yeah, we in here. 'Cause we been
Y'all better get comfortable with saying black.
We in here. Yeah, we in here.
Black versus the Board of Education.
Cause we been here. We in here. Yeah, we in here. Cause we been here. And you know, cause we been here.
That's why we are indeed a whole mood.
That's it.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Black versus the Board of Education. My name is Miss Laureen, and I welcome you into this space. It is May 19th, and the struggle still continues. That's the banner we are operating under today, because we have a lot to talk about. We have some flagrant fouls on certain administrations, and we have seen the largest number of complaints we have seen ever this particular school year, with 6 coming in over the weekend. So we obviously have a problem. People are not handling our children with care, compassion, and concern, and we are going to talk about it. If you mad, hold on to your seat, because you may be madder by the time I finish this episode, because there's this thing that happens where people want to operate under the veil of secrecy, and we don't tolerate that on these parts. And so as we get started with the discussion, I'm going to go around and I'm going to let you know who's in the building, and then we're just going to pop right into it. Is that all right, Miss Anaya?
Yes.
Well, you're just so pretty and you just sit in there. So I think you should start us off with your introduction. And then you're going to pull up Melissa, right? Because we're going to let the ladies go first. And then we are going to make sure the gentlemen are represented. And then we're going to dive into the discussion. So Miss Anaya, go ahead and take us away.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Anaya. I just finished my second year at Howard University, so I'm here for the summer break.
And I just have to tell you, you're looking more and more mature every time you come home. Like, I don't know who this young lady is in front of me. I'm used to looking at the baby Anaya, right? And I'm just looking. This girl is over here just blossoming right before our eyes, and I'm just so excited that you're home. Miss Melissa, hey boo, hey.
Hi everyone, my name is Melissa, and I just finished up my first year at UC Berkeley.
Come on, see, my sisters is doing it. You know, anytime we get a chance to celebrate our babies, we're going to do that. So congratulations, ladies, on ending your years. Did you end it successfully, though?
Yeah, I had all of my finals were online, and I just got back home on Friday morning. So no grades are in yet, but I'm very confident in everything that I did.
Oh, fantastic. And Miss Anaya, how about you? You finished strong, or what are we looking at?
I did amazing.
Okay, tell them how amazing you are. So you had how many classes, boo? Come on, like she's 7. Trying to be shy.
I had 7 classes.
She has 7 classes, and tell us how strong you finished.
5 A's, 2 B's.
Nice.
5 A's, 2 B's.
Nice.
Come on.
Nice.
We love to hear it. And yes, happy 100th birthday, Malcolm X. And we're in that by any means necessary kind of mode that we've been in today. Why don't we start right there?
Hey, how y'all doing? Mr. Fox, happy birthday, Malcolm X. I'm for surely be trying to carry on the mission by any means necessary, with a little bit of common sense these days, because we are in a new age.
Oh, I'm so glad you pulled yourself up before I had to tell you to readjust yourself.
I already knew what was going on.
Okay.
How y'all doing? It's Mr. Fox in the building, and for sure, I'm ready and willing to get started on this discussion and everything that we have to do about the discussion.
Okay. And with us today, we have one of the newest members to Team BYLP. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
That is me. Hello, everybody. My name is Daniel Chastain. I am the new member, site lead for the BYB, but us.
Look at him.
How about that? How about that?
Look, Mike is like, hold on, I got the whole shirt on. I'm going to need you to know where you work at.
How about that for us? Right? I'm just happy to be here, just being a part of this by any means necessary. That means something to me, and hopefully we get a chance to speak on it a little later.
Absolutely.
But I'm happy to be here.
So before we move on a step, because I need people to understand. So you're one of the newest members of our team here. Was it everything that you thought it would be? Is it more coming into the fold? Like how has your time with us been so far?
So time has been great. Just being acclimated to the program and what happens at the schools. Beautiful. So I'm learning the difference between what is happening with the students themselves and administration. So
Okay.
this is a beautiful learning opportunity for me, and I appreciate it.
And I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I do.
All good.
So, is there anything that's happening that you're surprised by?
Well, I'm coming in at the end of the year, so I haven't been able to really see the dynamics of what the kids are going through, but it is an awakening to actually see them and participate with them, to know the dynamics of the home,
Mhm.
the dynamics of what's going on at school, and what is really going on with them at the time.
I mean, I'm with you, Miss Tawana. She says she loves the male kingly energy in the room. We're gonna put these fellas to work today.
Let's get it.
And joining us as a special guest today, we have actually a parent in the room. And so why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? And we, like I said, I keep saying we're gonna get into the discussion. We've been busy today, so I'm gonna start with you, and then we're gonna figure life out.
Thank you. Yeah, my name is Marcus. I'm the parent. My daughter has a disability, so I'm here talking about what happened in our situation. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to do this.
Yeah,
Get the
no
word out.
problem. No problem. We love coming alongside our families. And I asked you, is there anything that happens that surprises you? And I guess we ain't exposed you to enough, right?
Well,
I wouldn't say that.
hold on.
I wouldn't say that.
What would you say? And put your mouth on the microphone so we can hear you.
I would say that Mr. Chastain has a different past, a different level of where we wouldn't found Mr. Chastain at. So it's hard to surprise us in these elements. What does surprise us is, I won't say what surprises us. I know what surprises me, but I'm sure if you ask Mr. Chastain what his background is, a little bit of where he learned from and where he came from, it would enlighten everybody to the reason why he's not surprised as to what he's seeing, as well as what drew him to come work for BYLP.
Oh, well, we can start there. Let's do that.
That's where we starting. All right. Cool. So I would say my background, just served 29-year sentence off a 60-year life sentence for an act that I committed when I was 18 years old. I've learned, I've grown, I've developed, I've seen a lot that's been going on inside. So coming out here to see the adolescents doing what they're doing, it's not really a surprise. The surprise is that there's really not anything besides us or the few organizations that are out here doing the work to really give it back to them, to really help them out and understand like their self, just understanding themselves. So this is a surprise that the education is not really out here like I thought it would be.
Oh.
But that's the only thing. Everything else we can run it, we can figure it out. But yeah, that's the biggest surprise to me, is that the education on emotional intelligence or the aspect of insight is not really being taught to our kid, to our community.
And
That's sad.
And I'm gonna open that up, because why do you all think that is not a component in schools, that they are teaching our young people the emotional intelligence, the de-escalation, all those things that would really be beneficial to them? Why do you think? And I'm gonna start with Melissa, and then I'm gonna come to you, Fox. Melissa, why do you think they're not teaching our children or y'all young people?
If students are emotionally intelligent, or are more emotionally intelligent than they already are, and that's taught in schools, especially as Black students, then the administration and teachers are not able to punish Black students as much for things like bad behavior or what they deem as bad behavior. We don't have the disproportionate discipline rates that we have now for Black students who are acting out or are deemed as bad kids, because if they're emotionally intelligent, able to de-escalate a situation so it doesn't get to the point where they're suspended or put in detention and things like that, it brings down the power imbalance that there already is.
Mr. Fox, what do you think?
I think something very similar to what you said. Me and Melissa always seem to agree to these things. However, moving forward, I also believe in what I see systematically happening with these people. With our children, what do you tell your kid when he's growing up in the house?
Well, I mean, we tell them a lot of stuff.
You tell him this your house.
Oh,
It's your house. You ain't got to open you got to ask me to open the refrigerator. You live here.
okay.
You ain't got to do that. So these people got their kids in these schools. They've already told their children what to do. This their house. Your big homie up there. I don't know Uncle Bob, we'll call him.
Okay.
But they're already looking out for each other. So if they kid act up in school, It's not the same as our kid acting up in school, like she said,
Mm.
having the emotional intelligence. They kids don't need the emotional intelligence. You can be as bad as you want to be, because when you come in this office, Bob gonna handle this paperwork,
Uh,
not Jamonte.
No.
Jamonte ain't got his hands nowhere on this paperwork. Bob gonna handle this. So when they come in there, our kids have to be emotionally intelligent to be able to express themselves and move forward. They don't want to teach them that, because it helps our kids propel more forward in advancements further than yours. We already
Mm.
have what it takes.
Mm.
You're there to stop it from happening.
right.
So the reason why they don't want to teach them emotional intelligence, because if they already have it and they already get it from us at home, if they get it from the school as well, think of how much more powerful they will be able to navigate through a system that is not of our own.
Mm.
That system was for them.
Okay.
So they don't want to teach the emotional intelligence, because right now Bob only has to look and see Jamonte
Oh.
and
Who is this Jamonte?
Jamonte is Jerusalem. I'm trying not
Jerusalem.
to
Oh,
go
Lord.
through our list of names. Jacquees, JJ, Pookie, and them.
Pookie and them.
You know what I'm saying?
I knew that
That's
was
what it is.
coming.
So when Pookie and them come in the office, we don't need him. We don't want to teach him to speak emotionally intelligent, because if we do, Pookie's going to be able to talk his way through the situation to point out the fact that, please look at your camera. You'll see that I was the one that was attacked first. I was being called N-words. I also let your teachers and administrators know I've been being called N-words for 9 months straight. I also did this and I also did that. They want to keep Jamarcus in a place where he comes in the door and he goes,
He got all the J names today.
because guess what happens when he does that?
Prison.
Bob doesn't have to go and actually look at them tapes. All he has to do is say, I knew Peter was I just don't understand why this happened.
He's not like that.
He's not like that.
Mm-mm.
And Bob speaks emotional intelligence for Peter.
Facts.
Okay.
And then he writes it on his paper. So yeah, I agree with what Melissa's saying. But I also know systematically, it's this systemic.
Systemically. I
That
got
word.
you.
Y'all
Mhm.
got me. Y'all
That
got me.
word.
Thank you, my people.
Yes,
I love y'all.
sir.
That's my team.
We here
over
for you.
and my college educated queens over here. You know, but when we look at it from that point of view,
Mhm.
systematically of what you're doing to make sure he's not successful 5 years from now, that's why. Don't teach them emotional education, because with that, our kids will be powerful 30 years from now.
Facts.
Mm.
That's what got us where we're at right now.
Facts.
Our emotional intelligence and us waking up is what got this going on. It's
Mm.
what got you in play right now. That's why you're such a powerful sister out here in this world right now. You woke, sis. You got it. But you can speak emotional intelligence for self and the person next to you that you're advocating for, and as well as the emotional intelligence to be able to tell mom over on the other side of the table too, hey, pipe down. We got it.
Yeah.
So it's going to be okay. But by your one level of emotional intelligence, you control the whole room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blacks in here
Mhm.
with one person's emotional intelligence. Just one of us can control that many of us. Think of what will happen if you put 10 of us on us and throw us in a room of 100. We
Yeah.
have effectively controlled that. That's what happens. And that's when you start to look at marches like Martin Luther King, Malcolm. How did Martin Luther King get people to come outside and get bit by dogs? And have to tell them, hey, bro, we're going to get bit by a dog today. How did Malcolm X be able to convince you, hey, by any means necessary, brother, I know you're nonviolent and stuff, but by any means necessary for us to push through. That was emotional intelligence. That's sitting down, that's talking, that's teaching us how to talk, educate.
Yeah.
No different than what we're doing on here. Teach them how to talk.
Mm-hmm.
Teach them how to express themselves. Teach them how to say, hey, that hurt. Not, hey, I need to catch that fade. No. What you did.
We've been talking about
That
fades
hurt?
all day,
Right.
y'all. You have to forgive us. Anaya, what would you say? Because you guys are closer to this group of kids that are coming up right now. Why do you think you all are not taught emotional intelligence on these campuses, or how to better deal with a situation without resorting to violence? Not all of your classmates or schoolmates did that, but why do you think it's not being taught?
I would just have to say the school doesn't care
Oh.
in that way. And
Mhm.
also, I know a lot of the curriculum taught in schools is just performance based. So why would we care about how emotionally intelligent you are if we just care about your test scores?
Mm.
Mm.
Nice.
See?
Nice.
Yeah. Mr. Chastain, any thoughts on why? Because with our kids not having emotional intelligence a lot of the times and resorting based on their triggers to violence, right? How are you all trying to combat that within BBSN? Because you guys are dealing with a wide range of little boys, and they're dealing with a lot of things, including staff who are picking at them and taunting them and using that power of the pen and misusing education code to get them to comply. How are you all kind of insulating these boys that you're coming into contact with on these various campuses?
So for me, I would say being able to just communicate first and foremost, what is going on between the heart and the mind, that
Mhm.
18 inches of space that connects us, our emotional intelligence, right?
Mhm.
Not just using our mind, not just using what we say, our gut or our feelings. But if you think about it, we're instilling the feelings right now to the individuals. We're giving them the understanding of what feelings are. If you're looking at the system from being at home, I was never taught that. I was never taught feelings. My feelings were always suppressed. My feelings were always supposed to be shut down. Big boys don't cry. Shut up, talk in, nobody, stay where the kids' place, or those things that go on in our culture. So because we have now the understanding of what feeling betrayed is, or frustrated, irritated, confused, those kind of things, we're actually able to identify that and instill those with our youth so that they can identify. Because if they don't identify them, then they're going to end up in the same place designed where they are to go, which is prisons, jails, cemetery.
Mm.
Bottom line, right? So if we're giving them this, then we're advancing our people. We're advancing these young males as leaders to be able to give them that information. Something that we haven't been given. Schools are not teaching that. And just like you said, Mr. Fox said about the it's a punishment. It's just going, you're here, you did this, get out. But
Yeah.
if I don't address how this child is feeling for getting kicked out, then we've done that child a disservice. We haven't given them the education that they are needing or wanting in order for them to get out of that system, out of that pipeline. So for me, it's very important to give them just the basic understanding of feelings,
Mhm.
being able to understand what their thought process is, what they're feeling, what they believe.
Right. And I think, and I listen to what you said, and I hear what we're trying to do with the kids. But the fact of the matter is the adults don't have any emotional intelligence either. We have a lot of adults who are trying to compete with children, get down to their level,
Mhm.
yet use this power of the pen to punish them when they don't do what it is that they're telling them to do. Whether it be requiring a student to give information that puts them in a detrimental position. Today, we've had situations where you had administrators make a decision on suspension, putting up kids for expulsion without ever talking to the kids and asking them what happened.
Violating their due process rights.
Like I have never seen the level of incompetence from what we are supposed to look at as educational professionals.
It's funny you said that. Today,
It ain't funny to me,
it's
but
not
I hear
funny,
what you're
but
saying.
it's said it because this is what happened. This is what was in the baby's report today. And we went up there for this family to fight for these girls, right? That got in this little fight. We had statements in there from adults who had paraphrased whole statements, wrote the statement incorrectly, and convinced the child to sign it.
No, not convinced, threatened the child to sign it
They won't let her out the room.
or
But
to see her mother unless she signed this
But you look at it,
particular paper.
and it's literally written this
Shorthand,
person,
not a
went
complete
through,
thought.
punch,
Like,
this other person came around and then such and such did this, and the name's her name, and it's like, what? Would you write a paper and say, Chastain went out and hit somebody,
Ash Chastain.
and then Chastain also, and then I witnessed so and so. How did you witness so and so doing anything if he was fighting?
Right.
So these are adults writing these reports and putting these stuff
And
in
getting away
these
with it.
files and getting away with it until we show up to advocate for them. But if we didn't show up to advocate for these babies, they'd be exposed.
So that's the thing, if you don't mind, right?
No, I don't mind.
That's the thing.
It's a podcast. Let's talk.
Our system was not designed for us.
Not our system.
Their system.
Their system.
Forgive me. Thank
was
you.
not
Thank you.
designed
So
for
their
our
system,
Correct them,
right?
Melissa.
Their educational system was not really designed for us. It wasn't. Our thing is just like if you start getting into the DSM-5, the dual statistics manual, right? The mental health aspect. If you start looking into that, you're looking at from 12 to 18 on conduct disorder, and that's just a fight at school or
That's
shoplifting,
all.
stealing a piece of gum, right? Only, right?
That's all it is because
Right,
these
and
are
that's-
minors. So it's
Absolutely.
only conduct disorder.
So that's exactly right. So when with our training, that's how I understand this is that the conduct disorder, they're gonna utilize that in order to shift us to the left to go to youth detention
Correct.
facilities, right?
Mhm.
YA or whatever, if they still have YA.
They don't have it.
So thank you, right? so we're looking at all of these things, and it's just, man, it's incredible that we were not supposed to excel the way
Facts.
that you are placing the way that we are being placed right now to really educate our youth, educate our children, right? We're not we weren't able to do that. And it's crazy because the actual understanding of it is coming from those who have done that horrific act and are coming out now, and we're awake, just like Mr. Fox spoke. We're awake now to where we can
And
come
break
out.
it down for the people in the back who don't know what horrific act you're speaking about, because I want to make sure that we're being very, very clear. Because
Okay. Well, let's get it.
he must not know who I am.
Well, let's get it in.
He's sitting over here paraphrasing.
So-
what we talking about?
When I first introduced myself, right,
Uh-huh.
I committed an act at 18 years old. So I committed a double homicide for my gang
At the time,
at the time. I've since learned to regulate my emotions, and with that, I'm being able to now give that gift to those who are coming up behind us.
Mhm.
And it's powerful. It's a very powerful movement that somebody that was discarded and thrown away can now have an opportunity to really uplift an entire people,
Right.
right? An entire people that have been forgotten or designed to be sent to the left.
Mm-hmm.
So it's amazing that you're getting what you're getting from the from an individual or individuals who were just discarded and thrown away as trash
Mm-hmm.
for a mistake that they made. That's why we're here, so that our youth, our babies, don't make the same mistakes that we did. That's the emotional intelligence aspect of it. Yeah, I was wrong. I followed a script that I thought was right, and it wasn't. It was
Mhm.
falsified. It was counterfeit.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to understand that it was counterfeit, let me give it to them in its rawest essence.
And I think that that's beautiful. And I think that we need to have more people unafraid to actually open the doors and allow you all to come in to help build up programming.
sometimes a lot of times they don't do it because it's something that we represent in the room. My level of education, just like Mr. Chastain's level of education, represents exactly what you took from these babies.
Mm-hmm.
The education I have is the education they're supposed to have. You ripped the education from the school systems and those trades from the school system and put them in prison.
Oh.
That's where we got it from.
Absolutely.
I got this emotional intelligence in these trades and all that in prison. These same trades that they took from the schools
Mm.
that our babies were supposed to have. Everybody, they knew our culture was the culture who we go out there. We do this. We do the handwork. We can be electricians. We carpenters. We go out with these bricks. We do this because guess what? The advantage of what they was facing was gangs and other certain lifestyles and drugs.
Right.
So they was giving our boys stuff to do. Hard class. Get that boy a hammer and teach him how to build a house.
Mm-hmm.
That's
All
not
that's
even
out.
there anymore.
That's out. But it's in the prisons though.
Yeah.
Right where they put them. And the only thing they have to do to put you in prison is conduct disorder. Say you have impulsivity. ADHD is impulsivity.
Right.
Impulsivity is just the fact that I just. What made you do that? Who did I harm when I did it? That's the
Right.
question. But they doing that and they're taking all these programs out and they sending them into the prisons.
Mm-hmm.
And then after you send it into the prison, you send our babies into the prison.
Yeah.
You send them in there
To the
and
wolves.
to the wolves, but
Uh-huh.
you got them programs in there to help
And
keep
let's
them at
be
bay while
very
they in there.
and let's be very, very clear. They also exploit labor in prisons.
Absolutely.
So they teach you these things, and then they bring what, the warden's car, one of them sheriff's car.
No, they bring
people-
Hollywood stars in there. I
They
seen
do.
Oprah in prison. I seen Oprah. Oprah
No,
came through.
But
the,
I also saw,
Solano State Prison.
but I also saw them exploiting labor.
That's what she came
Right.
through there to exploit the labor. She wanted it. She wanted to know who was going to be making something for her. They made belts, jeans. No, I'm serious.
No, I
Oprah
know
came
you
in that
are.
Thing, looked, laughed at us.
Oh,
She might have thought it was funny, like, ha. But no, I'm suffering. I'm the one who's making your stuff, and you laugh and you think it's cool as you walk by, protected with those people. with them.
But so she went in there and she was protected, because when I went in there, they told me they don't negotiate with terrorists, and I would go in at my own
You one of the-
on my own, and
you
if
one
they
of the-
took me
you one of the-
hostage, I was on my own.
You one of the people coming to see the people, though. I wasn't one of the people coming to see the people. She came in there to see what her investment was
Mm.
and how my investment is paying off. Then they chose they sharpest guy, Hopper. I'm gonna name him Hopper. Hopper, come over here and talk to Oprah. And he went over there and she said, oh, yeah. Signed another check. These things, it's if you look off into the investment of prison and who's actually investing off into it, it would shock you.
This could be a
Man.
whole nother podcast topic, and I want to veer us back to because Marcus is still sitting here like, wait, when we getting to
When
me?
we're getting to me.
We also do have Mr. Marcus here, who we was able to help out. You personally was able to help out in Mr. Marcus's case with his child. He came by, man, and he called me, man, and he was texting me, and he was like, hey, I want to be on that podcast. I need to be on there, Mr. Fox. Mr. Fox, I want to let the people know what happened. And I said, well, what happened, Mr. Marcus? I wanted him to run it back through to see if he was cognizant of what was going on. Brother said, man, not only when BYLP, when we came for him, what he came and he wanted to discuss was the fact of what happens after we leave out of the room.
Oh, we already know what
BYLP
happens.
comes
They
in there.
resort to whatever they do unless we come back and keep our foot on their neck.
And that's what his message is right here today.
Okay, so let's talk
Marcus.
to you. So give me briefly, give me a taste of what was going on with your baby.
They weren't following IEP. My baby
Habitual
has-
line steppers, by the way. Go ahead. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
she has a speech impairment and a learning disability.
Mhm.
So first IEP we went to,
Turn your mouth towards the microphone, sir.
first IEP we went to, we have an advocate that comes with us. She was pointing out everything that they did wrong. Second IEP we went to, all of a sudden, they don't have time for my advocate to come. Every time that was available.
Well, that's not their choice. You do know that, right?
Yeah, I
Okay.
do. I know.
All right.
But all of a sudden, first time she could come, second time, oh, there's no availability for the time that she's available. They told me that she was struggling with math, with spelling. I was like, okay, let me see her work. Let me take her work to our advocate, to
Mhm.
her, who's also her tutor. See how she's doing. No, we don't hand out the work that she does in class.
They don't hand out the work.
No, like she takes a math quiz in class. Don't give it to us. Like, wait a second, what?
So how are you supposed to help her? How does she know what she got wrong?
Exactly. And how is someone supposed to help her? All I could do is take a picture. That's all they let me do. Is take a picture.
Take a picture of the work.
Take a picture of the work. You know what the principal said? Why?
Why?
He said in order for a parent to have the ability to take their child's work home, they need to have IEP and accommodation on the IEP saying the parent could have that child's work.
Wow.
I don't have that
That's
accommodation.
heavy.
I do not have that accommodation. on the IEP.
Wow.
So we couldn't get copies of the work.
I have never heard of that.
Yeah, because it's not true.
Right. Right.
That's
Right.
why.
They do what they want to do. Is
Wow.
discretion.
Yeah.
Melissa has her mouth wide open, and I think she has a clarifying question or maybe a statement. What are you? Why? Why are you looking like that?
I have a lot of words. But
Keep them professional.
do they not hand work back to the children? Because at least in my experience as being a student, when you take a test, you get your grade back and they hand the work back to you, you take it home.
At the end
So
of the year,
Wow.
that's when we could do
At
it.
the end
So
of the
if
year,
our
that's
kids-
when they give you the information.
it was all of the work at the end of the year. So
That's
if
too
our kids
late.
struggling
That's over
during the
with.
year, it's like, what are we
So they
supposed
just
to
collect
do?
it all and put it in a folder and give it to you at the end of the year.
Exactly right.
Wow.
Exactly right. That's what they would do.
We have an issue. We have
That's
a
too
problem
late.
here.
And
have
then the one
several
going
issues.
she needs
How
help,
am I
and how am I
to
supposed to help her?
Melissa about to jump out her skin.
no, all I said, we have several issues. I'm just still confused as to how they hand all the work back at the end of the year. I don't have to.
Melissa, I will tell you this though, Melissa. When we be on campuses, and sometimes we have to go get a child who we have to redirect. Within the redirection of him, I realize, man, this kid is going to take a minute. It's going to take 30 minutes to redirect him because I've been working with him for so long. And I'm like, I have to work through the feelings. First, I have to work through the quiet part, the sit down part, then work through the feelings part, then bring him up to understand what he actually did wrong in his role of the part, ask him how he feel about that, then the correction of it. And now let's get to the conflict resolution part about it. Sometimes that could take 30 minutes with a kid who does already have an IEP in place and isn't. So because of that, and me realizing I'm gonna have this kid for about 30 minutes to 45 minutes, let me go to his teacher and get some work for him, just so that he won't miss out on the work for that day. And the work may be just what he said, a piece of math paper. That's it, a piece of math paper, or a spelling test, and they won't give it up. They'd rather let that child fail.
So let me
Let me
ask
get
you a
out.
question. When they told you this ridiculous stuff, because apparently they're making up things as they go, did you call for an immediate revisit of your IEP and to put that accommodation in place?
That was during the IEP, and I was so shocked that I didn't say anything. So what I did was immediately went to the executive director and asked him for help, and he never responded to me.
Okay.
Oh,
So that was inside the IEP that they told you that?
Yeah, because I asked, why can't we do it? Inside the IEP, I asked the teacher right there, because I've been asking for like a year. I asked the principal to help me.
You
Never
t-
contacted me.
You too calm for me. Let me tell you. So
The brother only calm though because you came
I
to help.
gotta be.
And he's speaking on the situation that he had to get through in order to help the child.
yeah.
That sometimes within itself is hard.
I mean, I just want people to hear what it is that you're saying.
Mhm.
Your baby was struggling in math. She took a test. You asked them to send the test home, and they told you unless she had an accommodation in her IEP that they weren't going to send any paperwork home. Is that what you just said?
I cannot have it because she does not have
You-
accommodation on her IEP.
wow.
Asked for help.
Incredible.
Asked the principal. He said you need to figure that out on your own. Went to the executive
Wait,
director.
you need to figure it out on your own.
Yeah. I
How
gotta
you
talk to-
figure out
I
what?
gotta
Why they
talk
won't
to the
release
teacher and
paperwork?
get it from her myself. I was like, I did. When I told him that, never talked to me again. Went to the executive director. Never heard a word from that man ever about this topic.
Is the baby still at that school?
Switch schools.
Switch
to the
school.
sister school.
Okay. Okay, because I'm.
That's flag on the play.
you
That's
know
the reason
what?
why he
Right.
needed
And
help.
Play right
multiple
there.
multiple flags.
Man.
I went to the board of trustees. They said they would take care of it, and they did contact me. I was like, thank
Is it
you.
a charter?
Yes.
That's-
An
so that's
independent
another
charter
part.
at that.
That's another
problem.
level of how they escape accountability. They
Yep.
don't want to talk to people. Kind of like Bradshaw Christian when I was talking about them and the misstep that they had, dealing with that little black girl. Instead of them having a meeting with me, they told me that, they had a board meeting and her parents sit on the board and the grandfather founded the school and the principal destroyed evidence. But nothing to see here. Right.
Redacted evidence.
And so I want to know who holds these people accountable.
That's what I'm trying to get to. Yeah, that's like we
Is it
need
the California Department of Education? Like, who holds these people
Wow.
accountable? Or are they
I
just
thought
able to do whatever they want to do?
I filed complaints with them. They said since there's a dependent charter, there's an independent charter. They're independent. So the people
I
that
would
hold
have
them
independently removed my kid from any grasp or any access they had to her.
So the only
period.
thing is the board of trustees. And I went to them and they said they would handle it, but I never heard from them again. So I just had to start filing complaint with the district, with the state, with everyone until the CDE Special Education Division finally got a hold of me like, yep, they are out of compliance. They've been
They knew they were out of compliance.
They knew for years. Because after
They knew.
the CDE finally contacted the school, that's when they got back to me. Actually, I had to go to their board meeting and call each one of them out and read their own policy to them to tell them what they had to do.
Mhm.
And then that's when they got back to me, when I read them their own policies. Like, you're supposed to be doing this, you're not. You're supposed to be doing this, you're not.
Mhm.
And that's when they got back to me. Not even after the CDE contacted them, they didn't do anything. I
Okay.
had to do that.
You have a question? Because I thought you was about to say something. I
Well,
didn't want to cut you off.
I'm just hearing, right? This is new work. This is new stuff to me. So the board of trustees, you ask them and they give you nothing. You've gone through different channels and absolutely nothing. So you've had to come to here
Yeah. and
in
I'm
order
here.
to get something. And now, like she said, you're calm, you're cool, right? Because some things have been rectified. But man, this is amazing. This is, oh my gosh, it's
It
getting
was
hot up in
only
here.
rectified because they got a special education director, Janelle Bratton. And when she heard what was going on, she had the homework to me within the last week, but there was 2 weeks of school left.
Right.
That
Oh.
was it. And I already decided to pull my kid out of the school.
So
Did
that's
her grades suffer? I mean, I'm assuming they did.
Once she got to the new school, within like 2 months, she started improving drastically.
So then
nice.
it really wasn't the work, it was the people attached to the
Yeah.
work.
Yeah. And when the
Hmm.
board finally met with me, I was satisfied, but I told them they're going to have problems with the principal because he never admitted anything that he did.
They
He said-
rarely do. And you
So-
know why? Do you know why he won't admit it? Because he knows he would face a lawsuit.
Yep.
Because
Yep.
that's negligence.
Absolutely.
When I asked him why he never responded to me, there was a child in my kid's class, Cyrus Blakely. He was murdered by his mother.
Oh, good Lord.
So when
Wow.
I asked him, and I had a bunch of questions to ask him, my first question was, why didn't you respond to me? He said, well, Cyrus died. I was like, what? That happened like a month after I asked you for help. And he's like, yeah, Cyrus Blakely was murdered. I had to take care of that. And that's why
Is he the
couldn't help me.
coroner?
That's why he couldn't help me.
Mhm.
That's what he said.
So he found a convenient excuse instead of pulling
A child's
his
death.
big boy panties up.
That's
He
heavy.
found a convenient excuse to not do what it is that he was supposed to do.
It's a
Yeah.
gross excuse because when you when you're a teacher, a mentor, a school administrator, a principal, you are tasked to multitask.
Yeah.
That's what your task is. You are tasked to juggle 1,000 kids. That means I need to be able to prepare and deal with better than a mother with 4 kids. You need to handle cold, not coming to school, suspension, good grades, bad attitude, crying, came to school with the phone. You need to be able to manage all this. So
Absolutely.
here's somebody, and then when you said, did the child's grades suffer? What I'm noticing more for our babies is, yes, their grades do suffer. But
Mhm.
more importantly for them is what happens when so many men I've talked to while I was incarcerated. The mental mind state.
Yeah.
My nephew knows when he comes to me, right? He come and he know exactly what he wants, and he knows exactly what to ask me for, and he knows exactly what I say no to and yes to, and he's 2. He knows exactly where the chips is at, and he knows exactly where they were because that's what he's seen. Chips, the cereal,
Right.
cereal. That's what he say. So our babies, when I tell him no, I tell him why, to give him an understanding. But when you're looking at our babies and they go into these people, they know to ask too. I need help. Need help. I need this. But they constantly being told no, no, no. It plays a role on a psyche for the years later. Now you got these adults running around with wounds, racism wounds, and things like that have happened to them throughout the school district, and then the work history, and then the way society treats us. And it messes with a psyche. And now you have this parent with the psyche messed up who then got pregnant and they raising another little one. And now our children are starting to be faced with the same thing that we are facing, and we pass it down generation to generation. We teaching our children to protect themselves against onslaughts of racist bigotry and other bad things that happen to them. And when they ask why,
Or just sheer incompetence.
why come I
Right.
wasn't allowed to go to the birthday party, or why can I this and that? You have to tell them the truth, because if you don't, it'll hurt their psyche more. If I don't tell you that you can't go, then my child's gonna go over there and ask you, "Can I come to the birthday party?" And then, you know what I mean? But this
Yeah.
is what's going on in these schools. They ignoring them. They ignoring them. I dealt with a girl today. Like I said, we was doing meeting. I've been doing IEPs all day. Girl told the administration the girls
That
was gonna
wasn't an
jump her.
IEP. That was an extension to suspension meeting.
meeting. Girl told the administration these girls are gonna jump me. Girl told the principal these girls are gonna jump me. Girl told mom
3 vice
these girls are gonna
principals.
tell me. Girl told vice principal these girls are gonna jump me. Girl gets attacked on social media. Girls tell her I'm gonna jump her. Girls send messages to her phone. B, I'm gonna come up there. I'm gonna kick your butt. Girls enlisted other adults to come on the thing. Girl says this. Girl is standing with
Provides
school
it all to
administration right now,
administration.
just like this, side by side. And she said, Miss So and So, here they come right now. Boop, 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 boop. They get on her. Why they want to suspend, expel her from school?
Oh no.
Oh yeah,
No.
for sure.
Yeah, this is what I went. This is one of the
That was
things I
this
went for
morning.
today.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's a senior. They wanted to take her graduation away.
Well,
They effectively
you know,
did take that graduation away.
she
But,
took her,
but she's
she got
allowed
her
to get her
graduation.
diploma though. We was able to fight for her. Me and Miss Lorraine was able to fight for her and able to get her diploma because she earned it. But they didn't care about all the hard work she put in and all.
Right.
This is a student who had messed up before and was under an obeyance contract and had obeyed the obeyance contract and probation
Abeyance.
contract for a year. So here it is. I've gotten in trouble before myself. I'm not innocent, but I've been abiding the rules. And I did what my community doesn't not allow me to do.
I told.
I told, which allows me to be the snitch.
Wow.
And not only did I tell, she gave accurate names and all this.
She gave screenshots. She gave
Screenshots,
things
all
from social media. She provided the voice messages.
And no help.
And
no help.
What the help she had came from other black girls that said, "Hey, we know this girl. She cool. It came from another
She
family.
has a big heart.
Yeah, it's two sisters, a mom and a dad, and they came forth. But they wanted to expel those girls too.
Wow.
They told the black girl, she 18 and her sister 7. Her sister she just in it just by way of, hey, you put your hands on my sister. What did you think I was gonna do? I didn't do
Right.
too much,
Right.
but I can't just I gotta go home and deal with that.
Right.
But she got it. But the other girl, she even had her hair ripped out of her scalp.
Yeah.
She there, you can see on
A bald spot, big
Man,
old
it's
bald
several
spot in the
tapes. You
back
can
of her
see
head.
the tapes, and the mom is like, they told the mom she can't come on the school campus.
Oh, mom got slapped with a
Oh,
restraining order.
Restraining order. So she come to us like, what do we do? We here yesterday. We in office here. We going through and we like, hey, what, we getting game plan together. I'm working on Saturday and Sunday around here. Now we going through it with this family, but ultimately these girls, black girls, they smaller than you. They smaller than both of y'all. Little dainty little girl, did the right thing and was still told, as you said, why don't we teach our children emotional intelligence? Because when they show them emotional intelligence, they have to adhere to it if we come. But the problem is, what happens with their emotional intelligence when we're not in the room? Because these babies are advocating for themselves with the
Right.
emotional intelligence we've been teaching them.
Right.
We've been teaching them. To them.
And I want you to
PBS stands in
pause.
effect.
Melissa, why are they responding to them in that way if they're advocating for themselves and they're doing everything they're supposed to do? Why do you think the administration is failing them?
I have no words right now. I have so many things to say, but
Anaya, you next.
oh my gosh. But they're failing. They don't care. Like you always say, it's a heart issue. They don't care if they're in the wrong. They don't care if the students are right. They already are coming in with a bias and presumptions about these students. They just genuinely don't care about protecting the students at all.
Anaya?
I'd have to agree. I don't have much to add. I think I'm just taking it all in. My mom told me some bits and pieces of it, but hearing all the new stuff, I'm just like shocked. I don't know why, other than I don't care about our students, why they would just disregard her like that. What are the race of the other two girls?
So there's two sisters, black, and then the girl who ultimately cannot walk, she's white or Mexican or something, Hispanic.
Okay.
But heavily
but-
cultured in with us.
Mm.
If I could say so like that.
I mean, but I think that I think it's egregious to remove a graduation ceremony from a child who's been jumped. I think that expecting her not to defend herself, they told her she should have laid down in the fetal position or she should have ran away. And in theory, that might be cute. But practically speaking, what I look like turning my back on people who are attacking me and trying to run out the door.
Not just that, but this is the definition of self-defense that the administrator gave in the room is this. It's an accurate defense. It's an accurate definition. However, it's not accurate for this situation. They told her self-defense is when you're cornered. You're in this corner right here, and somebody has you cornered. You can't turn right. You can't turn left. You're cornered. You got to do whatever you can to get out that corner. That's correct. Self-defense. Get out of the corner. He said once you come out the corner, it's no longer self-defense. People are jumping me. It's 8 people swinging at me. I got at the corner. Somebody socked me in the back of the head over here.
Right.
Somebody socked me over there. Somebody socked me right here. They socking on your staff in this incident
To get to
just to get to me.
wow. Yeah,
So
that's
what
heavy.
is self-defense for somebody getting jumped?
I don't know. I just think that people change the rules to fit whatever story, and they can do that because they have the power of the pen by way of their positioning. Go ahead, Daniel.
So I was going to iterate on that with the power of the pen. So before I learned to pick up a pen and start writing, I was a very physically on hands kind of guy where
You do not say.
I used to, yes. Yes. So now we're looking at who today where they don't have that information. And
Mhm.
it's like Mr. Fox spoke, right, about now they're labeled as snitches, or they're labeled as something less than or other than whom they are for doing what was considered the right thing. If I am letting you know that I am in danger, and you allow this to happen, you wanted that to happen. So was it something with that specific individual that the administration had an eye out for? Like, We had a past situation before. Okay, that's static. That's way back here. I've completed that. That's done.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're here today getting ready to walk. And you're going to take this away from me. And I was thinking about what Big Bruh spoke about. We're going back to the homework. We're going back to this homework where you're holding my work for a year. How do I advance? How do I grow? How do I continue to develop if I don't have my work? I can't take my work home. I used to have to take my work home to my mom and daddy. That made sure I did it. If it's not there, how can I improve? How can I grow? If I cannot go back and look at this, you're holding my stuff for a year.
And I don't know what I got right or wrong.
That makes no sense.
None.
That really makes no sense. And that's a problem. That is a real problem.
It doesn't have to make sense to them though, because what I'm really realizing when I come in the room as the power source, as the advocate, as the one who knows better, as the one to rectify this situation, because I have the knowledge, right? And I walk under there with the training that Lorene gives me. It's an attitude on the floor. The attitude now has shifted to
Facts.
I don't care that I'm wrong. I'm white.
Facts.
I ain't gonna bow down to you, and my boss ain't about to make me bow down to no monkey. That's out. That's what happens in the floor. And they'll look you dead in your eyes and say, this child right here, they know that I got their back. They know she's safe with me. And I say, hey, child, are you safe with your teacher? No, I'm not safe with my teacher. I don't feel safe and I don't trust this.
She's lying. That's what that literally.
Right.
No, she's lying.
Right.
Then they'll write it on
I am
the
her
paper.
safe person.
Right.
So I look at
Like,
these
what?
teachers and you say, what's going on? Like you said, the power of the pen.
Absolutely.
The power of the pen is what's going on.
Absolutely.
Because they wipe you with the pen. As long as I can put all this in your file, okay, what this meeting was about, I got away with putting this on this paper.
Absolutely.
And this file went here because I have a contract with somebody else. I work here. My contract is to get you up in there.
Mm-hmm. So you can get that 115, that 115.
Exactly.
That hot whip.
Exactly.
Just
like
hot
when you,
whip.
just like when you go when you go to the grocery store and you go to bag. I've been through here. I walked all around your grocery store. I done bought $200 worth of groceries. I gotta pay for these little bags.
Right. Right.
But guess how much it adds up to? Though?
Absolutely.
So they know what they're doing. They're gonna whoop you. Okay, it's still all that. Everything that walked out that door, we get back just
We're
for
gonna get
these
back
bags.
for sure.
There's another
For sure.
contract behind the scenes that people don't be seeing.
Right.
Something else going on, and what's going on? That's between them on the other side of the table that know about it, because it's a whole different conversation that happened. I don't know how many times white folks that have educated themselves, and I'm not being racist. I'm telling the truth.
You can't be racist.
At
But
all.
you
I
can be
can't,
prejudiced.
But I'm
though.
not prejudiced either. All of us know what I'm about to say is true. I don't know how many times white folks who have educated themselves and decided to say, hey, you know what, I'm gonna be a better person in life, have came forth with the truth of it's a different conversation that happens before you step in the room.
Mhm.
They've told us that many a times, but we've never been privy to the conversation. And the only person who has been privy to the conversation is the token Negro who we dissociate with. All skin folk ain't kin folk. Let us know what's really going on up in this room before we get up in here so we can help our people. If you want to help us, you know what I mean? If you really want to help us,
Right.
tell us that part.
Right.
But don't give me a Jolly Rancher and tell me you fed me.
Right.
That ain't chicken, pimp.
It's not. For sure.
So Marcus, how did you mitigate this situation? Right, you did contact us. I believe that I don't think I actually got to you before the situation was figured out. I want to be honest about that. We have so
Shout
many
out Quinessa.
complaints. Quinessa probably triaged it at first. And I don't think I ever really got to it. So I can't take credit for what happened with Marcus. However, he was able to mitigate that. So tell me how you were able to mitigate it. You just told us that they did eventually give the schoolwork after the new person came along.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only way I was able to mitigate it was move her to a different school. So
Shout out to the parents who moved their kids.
yeah,
Amen.
Shout out.
the board did meet with me. They did have the ED and the principal meet with me. Of course, they didn't admit anything was wrong. They did change some things, and I was like, okay, that was back in September. So I was like, okay, we're good. I'm at a different school. Don't care anymore. But I told them, you guys are going to have problems with this principal and ED if you keep them. Back in February, I found out I got a survey from the parent advocacy committee finding out same thing happened to a couple other people. And then that just turned me up. I was so pissed because they did not listen to a damn thing I said and they didn't do anything. So
I want to know
other
who he's
people-
related to. No, for real. Because there are people who step on the line and there are habitual line steppers.
Yeah. And that's
And
what they
those
are.
people are normally related to somebody either on the board,
Yeah,
somebody,
somebody in
in
power.
administration, something to where they retain their job even in their ineptness.
I told the board, my thing was I said they're discriminating against me because they won't contact me back.
Mm-hmm.
And their reasoning for it not being discrimination was they don't contact anyone back. That's what they said.
And y'all
How
should
does a
all
board-
remove your damn kids from that damn institution.
And
How
that
about
came
that?
back to bite them.
And then call
because
me back
during the San Juan board meeting last week. I guess
at the regular
the San Juan
regular board
the
meeting.
San Juan district
Okay,
board meeting. I
gotcha.
went. They're trying to recharter the school that she's at right now. So there's
Oh.
two sister schools. One's
Oh,
River. That's
mhm.
the one we had all the issues with. The other one's Orchard. Orchard's good. We haven't had any issues at Orchard. They're trying to recharter Orchard. But I guess the assistant superintendent had tried contacting the ED about asking him a question.
No
Never-
response.
no response. Took 3 times. The board member told the ED that is unacceptable. We will not accept that.
Mm.
Straight up told him to his face. Like
Mm.
the board of trustees of Golden Valley knows this. I told them. They told me they know he doesn't contact anyone back.
So who is he related to, or who's he sleeping with? I can go there too.
The board of trustees don't do anything to this man. Like another person. So
So you have to ask yourself why, right?
don't know the reason, but yeah, there's got to be a
Mhm,
reason. We just don't
mhm.
know what it is. But then the budget has been mishandled so far.
Uh-oh.
That's why I brought.
And then
this.
they
I wanted-
they playing funny money, huh?
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
I wanted you to take a look at this because this is
Oh,
new.
I'd love to look at paperwork.
So
Go on and pass it somewhere.
Got some
no, their budget's a mess. They had to give a loan. So River had to loan Orchard $150,000 to stay afloat.
Mm.
At the board meeting, one of the board members said, I don't even know that's legal. We got to investigate that now. Another board member said he's an auditor, been auditing for 25 years, audited every schools, charters, Fortune 500 companies. He'd never seen anything this egregious. He said he has grave concern for whoever manages this budget.
Mm. Well, when you want to know people's priorities, look at their budget.
Yeah.
So what is this new loan going towards? Did somebody pocket the other money, or what happened?
That's all we got right there.
Hmm.
So the
Uh-oh.
ED's response was that this is
Oh,
just
they
how
gave him
charters.
5 years to pay this back?
So the ED told San Juan board that this is just how charters operate. They're always in the red, always on the brink of failing. One of the San Juan board members ran a charter. She's like, "That's a straight out lie. That's not true."
Mm.
She said to the man, "If a person that runs the school believes that, I fear for that school."
Man.
And the board of trustees still haven't done nothing with this man. like he's still there.
Again.
Who
Again. Who is he related to?
She
Or who
straight
is
up
he
said,
sleeping with?
I would shut this school down if it wasn't for the assistant superintendent saying, giving them 3 years. Give them 3 years to see what they could do. She's like, if it wasn't for him, because I trust myself, I would shut you guys down right now. The
Mm.
president of the board of San Juan was like, the only reason I'm not
Who
shutting
is
you
the
down.
president right now?
Ben Avery is the president
Oh,
of the board
Jen
of San
Avery.
Juan.
No, Ben Avery.
Ben Avery is the
Okay.
president of the board of San Juan Unified.
Okay.
At this school, Golden Valley, it's Caleb Buckley.
Well, I don't want to talk to Kayla. She don't seem like she like to do her job.
Caleb.
You don't want to talk to none of them.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
wouldn't talk anyways. He wouldn't reply to you
egregious,
anyways.
The fact that you messed up this big, and I'm even going to give you an opportunity to fix it
For
I'm
3
amazed that
years.
they
for
are.
3. So in the next 3 years,
But they don't have to
How
pay
many
this loan
babies is
back for
about to be
5.
For 5.
so I
Mhm.
mean, like
The math ain't mathing. I'm gonna need a 1 year.
So you're gonna get professional development and fix something on my baby's back. That's only 8 years old, 9 years old,
Tanya.
13 years old, or whatever have you may be. You gonna start beginning to understand how to do your job while they failing. And if adults feel this way, if you as an adult feel I'm not being responded back to, where do I go? And you don't find nowhere to go. As an adult, what you think these babies is going through?
Right.
The same babies
Right.
that keep coming to us and telling us, hey,
This is
they're
happening.
basically telling us this, and I agree with them. You look at them and they tell you, "Hey, these shoes is too small." Like we said about their school district, they was never meant. The system was never built for us. So they're telling you these shoes is too small, and you look and you see his toes poking out. You got 3 years to fix that.
Mm.
He needs shoes right now.
Right now.
Yeah.
He needs shoes right now.
Right.
He got to walk right now.
That's a whole three promotions for the
That part.
kids. What if they can't access their schoolwork in 3 years?
No, right?
I'm just asking. I mean, because that seems like a problem.
I'm gonna tell you a bigger problem: the fact that sometimes, not all the time, but a lot of times, in these upper positions like this, a team can only be as good as a leader.
Mm.
And the fact that your team ain't screaming out either, lets you know that they with that same crap, which
Well,
means there ain't gonna be no fix.
Normally, it's because it's connected to their livelihood, and they don't want to ruffle
Absolutely.
anybody's feathers because they know that people are really crazy and they will affect their livelihood if they talk about things that are supposed to be hidden.
Yeah,
I believe
They'll
that.
even there's some school districts who will, just flat out retaliate against staff and say, if you talk, you're making us look bad. Shut up. If you talk, we're
that
going to
really
hold you
happened.
responsible.
That really happened.
And we're not going to talk about it if it actually happened because we know it actually happens with our staff, but if they will treat adults this way, what do about the babies who have no recourse?
That part.
And that's why we tell people to call
Uh,
us because I ain't scared of these people.
I've talked to staff at both schools because it's Golden Valley and they run both schools. River and the principal at River is not good. That's the one I had the issues with. And then there's Orchard. Orchard's good. Never had any issues.
I don't know if Orchard's good. Maybe Orchard's good to you.
yeah.
But they all
But-
connected.
The first thing when I talk to staff at either school, the first thing that they say is that the executive director doesn't care about the kids. He just cares about himself and his job. And it's evident by his
Mhm.
actions that that's all he's trying to do. Keep himself making $100,000 a year.
Of course.
That's all he's trying to do.
But he got to do the work.
And I
Apparently
don't
they don't.
understand
He should
how
be
he gets away
required
with
to.
not doing
What he
the
should be
work,
required
he's
to, and
still
what
there.
they're doing is two different things.
Mhm.
Apparently, they don't have to, nor does his team have to. That's why these babies be suffering.
He's been not doing work for so long.
And
That's
so,
just what he's used to.
When a
and
baby
knows
comes
he's
from
gonna
this
win.
school and says, "Hey, my teacher ain't giving me my homework," and this school's already in the red, and nobody's holding them accountable, and then nothing's happening. Again, what are we teaching our babies?
Mhm.
And what are they seeing as they witness this process going forward? And how do I have to tell them, as the advocate that comes through, you're cared for? I'm only here for 2-3 hours. After I leave, these shenanigans start back up.
Mhm.
After we helped this brother, he said the shenanigans started right back up.
What shenanigans? Tell us. Do tell. What shenanigans? Because I
learned-
like to play too.
I learned that others they weren't following their IEP accommodations.
Oh,
So
well,
yeah, back after I talked.
I
to
mean,
you,
they do that in Elk Grove Unified.
Yeah.
They do that in
landslide.
Sac City Unified. Don't follow the accommodations for some reason. They think that they're optional.
Yeah.
And that's pervasive throughout the special education landscape. So then again, how do we combat that? How do we combat the fact that these folks are not doing what they're supposed to do? Melissa,
I got a
how do
question
you,
for
what do
you.
you think? What you got a question for me?
I got a question for you.
Oh Lord, let me go to Melissa first, and then you can ask your question.
Mhm.
How do we get them to do what they're supposed to do, Melissa?
Fire them. You need new people. You need new people who actually
about
want
to
to
say-
do their
There
jobs.
it is.
yeah,
All right.
You need new people who want to do their jobs. You need new people who are not just there for the money. You need people who are there because they want to help children, and who don't just see children as dollar signs. They don't just see them. You need to come to school so I can gather attendance, so I can get paid. We people who don't see students as test scores as well, who come school, do your tests so we can get paid. You need people who actually care, and you can't make people care. You can only threaten people so much to the point where they care. Like, you can't make people care. They have to come in caring.
Want it.
Anaya, what do you think? How do we make these people do what they're supposed to do?
I'd agree.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what else you can do but replace them slowly, of course.
Well, there's another thing that you could do. Remove your kids.
Oh, well, but that's not making them
Oh yeah,
do better.
because you take the money out of their coffers.
Okay.
They don't get the average daily attendance that Melissa was just talking about. If in mass we decided enough was enough, and we as a community say, our kids aren't going back to your schools until you can prove that they can be handled with care, compassion, and concern, and that they're safe.
Mhm.
If they're not safe on your campuses, we have legally no obligation to send them back to that specific campus.
and that's what I found the hardest part is to get people to stand up.
Facts.
Like I've been trying to tell this to people for a year and a
Same
half,
problem we have.
and just like the last Golden Valley board meeting, finally people started speaking up, and I was so excited. But at the same time, I was like, "Where were you guys this entire time? He's been like this for years, and now when the school's about to shut down, now y'all step up. Like it's a little late."
Well, nobody wants to rock the boat except for me. I want to
Absolutely.
blow the boat up, but
That's why I
that's
love
just
it.
me.
That's why I contacted you.
What question did you have? Because we're running out of time. We
I
got
do
about
not
30
believe
seconds.
none of these schools are ever going to be whooped in the line. They will always avoid the situation, deny it happens, and defend the workplace because
Mhm.
the workplace is theirs. This is their school. This is their property.
And those are our children, and we should remove them.
And my point that it falls off into the question of everything that we're saying. They created a school. They created a private school. They created a charter school. Then they just created a subdivision to this charter school. Why can't we as a people create our own school?
That's what's needed.
Well,
And if we
I don't
want
think
them in our
that
schools,
I don't
let's
think
create-
that we can't create our own school.
Okay,
What I think the problem is just like you saw in Black Wall Street, they'll come in and tear it down. They will put up so many barriers to make it impossible for us to really do it on the scale that we're used to, right?
Mm.
And that's the unfortunate thing. There's different rules for us, right? There is a school, I think it operates out of the African marketplace. However, their mail was coming to my house. Why? Because we had a common name, Melanin Academics, somewhere in that all. But my house was registered as a private charter
charter school.
right? Because I did the private school affidavit to register my house as a private school. And then they sent their mail to us for whatever reason, because I don't know, I guess all Black people run the same type of businesses. I don't know. However, when you're looking at things like that, again, we could, but I think it wouldn't be to our advantage. I don't see how it would be to our advantage to produce our own school. For instance, oh gosh, I'm gonna get in trouble. For instance, you do have a Black charter school, Fortune Schools, right? And my problem with Fortune Schools is I believe they have this model that looks great. The campaigns look great. The uniforms look great, but they're trying to do school like we're traditional schools, right? With the same type of rules and accommodations, but you know the population you're dealing with. So there has to be an infusion of care, compassion, and concern. You can't operate it as a business with that same business model and think that you're going to have success. And I just find it very problematic that we do school, but we try to do school like white folks do school. And that situation that thing was never built for us. So knowing that, you don't then exploit our community, slap uniforms on them, tell them that you're going to do school differently and this is a place where they belong, and treat them like the majority white campuses treat them. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I can't never see that happening. And as I'm watching,
You can't
this go
see
on
what
and I'm
happening.
listening, the treatment part.
You better talk to Mr. Jackson in the comments. He got something to say about. He telling me to talk about it.
I just can't see. I just don't see them changing the treatment. I'm watching white folks take over BSUs, black student unions, and not seeing them succeed. I'm watching them tank them. I'm not seeing the
on
treatment.
purpose.
I'm seeing you purposely say, "Hey, you as a qualified Black person, you don't know what it is to be Black. We're gonna have blue eyes and blonde hair, Lily right here, come teach the Black people how to be Black in this BSU, and they're gonna run it. And then they tank it, and then they turn around and look at us and say, "Why your people ain't as sharp as we are? We gave y'all a BSU."
But this is the thing. They'll give you a BSU, but they won't give you the budget to sustain it. Let's be very
there it
clear
is.
as to what's
There
going
it
on.
is.
Okay,
Not really helping.
let's be clear
There
on
it
what's
is.
happening. And until we actually talk about what's happening and people stop getting mad at me for being honest about the things that I'm looking at on their campuses and get out of their feelings and let's get to work, we're going to continue to have these type of conversations. Nobody wants to be held accountable for the fact that they don't know what the hell they're doing and they ain't smart enough to go ask nobody how to help them. But it's my fault that you get upset because I'm telling you the truth. That sounds like a personal problem. Anyway, we've run out of time for today. We are Black versus the Board of Education. We will see y'all next week.
Right.
Don't know the topic, but I know the time. We'll be here at 4:30 PST.
There
So
it
make sure you
is.
join us. Peace out.
Yes, sir. Bring your babies to BBSN.